Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Stronghold Castle Sims from Firefly. This is the original remade version of Castle Sims if you never played this before. I played this back in the early 2000s and I used to be zoned out playing this game, and I loved this game. I used to just when I used to watch all the movies that were based off of this, or this was based off like Troy, games that required raiding and building villages and castle and city building. So in this, basically I dropped the granary. That's where you hold all your food. And so what you got to do, I'm strategic. It's a 1v1, but it's not PvP. There is PvP, but this one's not PvP specifically. This is me versus the PC. And this is our first campaign. So basically there's you and then there's an opposition. So the city that builds the fastest and grows the fastest is usually the strongest city. So you're trying to build population. You got to build homes. You got to build jobs. And then you got to protect your citizens, your population, which means you need soldiers, you need rangers, you need armor. It depends on the level. It gets to a point where there's a level. So now, as you can see on the screen, the opposition is at the bottom. They're building faster than I am, but that does not mean they're necessarily winning. Maybe at the time they're considered more powerful because what they have. But while they're still building, you're strategically trying to make sure that you can continue to grow. And that means your jobs need to be protected. So I got a guy up here working at the quarry. They're giving us stone, and we're going to use the stone to build walls and buildings. Also, we got wood huts where people chop down trees. So one of the best things you need to do, or one of the things you need to do to win, is to make sure you're dropping down a certain amount, because you have a certain amount of coins that you can spend as well. So you're going to have to earn coins to have more soldiers as well. Not only you need to put down houses, you put down homes so you can build your population. Food has to continue to grow, so you have to be very careful on how many homes you put before you have enough food. If the food starts to go down out the granary, you start to lose population. People start to leave. So you won't be able to build an army, or you won't be able to build economy. As you can see right now, put down a home, and that will bring in a few more people. So idealistically, this is supposed to be more of the quicker campaign. This one took about an hour. So I'm just going to break down what you're seeing on the screen. So at the same time, we're keeping an eye on the enemy and see how they're built. They're built like a nice little wall. Looks like they got something going. I did not add this query right here. That is the opposition's query next to mine up there. So there's only certain areas you could put the query, and the enemy put one right next to ours. So what happens if you got soldiers? They'll automatically start shooting arrows at the enemies, even some of the citizens. So the ones that are coming to work on that query are getting killed as they try to show up to work, so they're not going to produce any stone. As you can see at the top, they probably should have put the rock quarry at the top. They should have put it up there for the stone. Also try to put up some walls for when they cross the water to keep them from coming over, and also keeping their soldiers from coming over as well. So we keep rangers near these workstations to try to keep the enemies as far as possible. So with that being done, what I did is I added some soldiers to attack their quarry. As you can see, they're attacking it to knock it down. This way it keeps them from coming back. And this way we can put our own right there, and we can double up on the amount of stones that we're creating. So we keep them from coming, and that slows down their economy, and that slows down their wall building. Although they have other areas they should have built at in the first place. They had no business. As you can see, there is an armored soldier working his way towards us. So we're trying to use as many rangers to put as much damage on them. So the armored soldiers don't take a lot of damage from arrows, but they take some. So if you put enough heat on them soldiers before they get there, by the time they get to a melee battle, they will be dead. But you cannot let them come over and start killing your workers, or else you're going to be slowed down. Then you got to spend that extra money to rebuild and have more workers come in. Alright, so after some time we built up, we started putting up the walls. And we had to put up a gate. You put up a gate so that the enemies cannot just walk into the land where most of your population is. So we pretty much surrounded a whole entire side of the island. We tried to make theirs is more like compressed. Ours is more spaced and wide. While at the same time we're keeping range and keeping them from crossing the river and killing most of their people as they try to work, which keeps their population down. Now it's savage. It's a savage world. It's a savage world. Alright, so now we have taken full control and we're trying to make more money, so we're looking for different stuff to sell or make. Like, you can make weapons and sell weapons. You can sell bricks, iron, but you're gonna need some of that stuff to craft certain stuff as well. So you could, if you're very efficient with time, using it for the resources and also selling it, you can actually be very profitable and very good at your rise. And obviously money making is part of your population because you got to spend money on certain buildings and certain things to build. So you want to go into your marketplace and sell anything you can to keep the growth going. And also, again, make sure their food supply is high, because sometimes you might end up buying some food. So you're going to need some money. So you may end up buying some food. If you just happen to run out of food, population shrinks. So you're making sure. So as you can see, they have a little circle compound wall, and we have pretty much taken the outside perimeter of that side of the water. Alright, so over time I started to smell blood, so I had some soldiers come attack the walls because we kept them at a minimum on the outside. We started to attack with fire torches, and also I have armored guys attacking the wall. This puts pressure on the king, it puts pressure on the village, and then you start to get your ranged people to keep everybody at bay. As we just continue to shoot, as I got guys tearing down the wall. Once that wall goes down, they will rush in and fight. And also we got see, the smart part about this is we been shooting arrows at them. That way, once the armored guys attack our armored guys, they will get killed really quick because they have a lot of health already taken from them. Now it's time for the bloodbath. Their defense is kicking in. All their soldiers are attacking our armored soldiers. So I moved them back a little bit for space. But their health is already low from all the arrow shots. So once they get to the melee battle with our guys, that should knock them off. But just understand, before you get into a match of this, a real game of this, understand you still have to build your city with strategy. You can't just build a bunch of armored soldiers and rangers thinking you can just do whatever you want. You have to make sure your city and economics, your economy, your people's happiness and sadness and taxes, whatever, is at a high. Because you would not be able to attack, because it's going to be hard to build an army if you're not taking care of that. Even if you do already build them, your population will start to shrink, and then once you start killing soldiers, you ain't got no population. So right here, it was time to attack the king. He's on top of the main part of the inside of the walls, and this should be the conclusion, and that's the point of the game, is to raid castles. This is a castle raiding game. Build a higher economy, and then you get through the walls and you kill the king, and you now own their village.
Of the ancients, so must the poor Sultan.